Hey there, guys. So I just got done watching this movie, The Predator, which came out this past week. Um, oh my God, guys! Oh my God. Um, where do I even begin with this? Let me just find out how to articulate this review and where to begin and whatnot. So I'm a big fan of the first movie. I absolutely love the first Predator movie, the movie that came out in, I believe it was 1987, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. That movie was a classic in my opinion. It was a How would I describe that movie? It was a survival horror action movie with really, really good acting, really, really good cinematography. It takes place in a jungle, and it takes the concept of the hunter becoming the hunted to the next level. You have this extraterrestrial creature which is, it hunts for sport, and it finds the greatest warriors it can find on whatever world it visits, and it basically hunts them for sport and collects trophies. And I really liked this concept, and the way that the movie flowed. It was such a fast paced, you know action movie with such really good acting and guys who really looked the part, and you could tell from all the trivia of the movie and all the making of it behind the scenes that it was a movie that just took so much effort, and they really worked for what they had. Same with the sequel. I actually really liked Predator 2, starring Danny Glover. I thought that movie was underrated. I felt that the movie had a different feel to the first one. That they took that hunter as the hunted theme where it goes on in the jungle, but they applied it to the city. So was really interested to see how they could apply that same that same jungle idea with a hunter becoming the hunted, and apply it to the concrete jungle. And I really like that movie. The Predator goes around, it hunts down all the gangs and the mob, and has to fight the cops, this, that, and the other. And I really, really enjoyed that movie too. It expanded the lore a little bit. You get to find a little bit more about the Predator. I like Predator 2. I think it's underrated. Let's talk about this though. Let's talk about this movie, The Predator, man. Wow. Guys, I mentioned how I would describe Predator and Predator 2 as sort of survival horror action movies, with some really good acting and some really good effects. Do you know how I would describe this movie? This movie is a shitty comedy. A shitty, cheap, lazy, poorly directed, poorly acted comedy, and which isn't funny, by the way. I mean, it's one of them films. It was very similar to Justice League. Now, it's very CGI heavy, and then when you get dialogue in the movie, basically it's all comedy. Like, every single scene, every single line of dialogue from every single character in the movie is a joke. That not one single actor in the movie, not one single character took the role seriously. I thought a lot. I was thinking to myself while watching the movie that this movie must have been written by a 12-year-old. It must have been written by somebody who's very immature, because there's a lot of yo mama jokes, a lot of dick jokes, a lot of fart jokes, a lot of sex jokes. And that's the whole movie, just dick jokes and fart jokes and sex jokes and yo mama jokes and you know racial stereotypes and shit like that. That's all that this movie is. I mean, let me try and break down the story. So, a predator crashes on Earth, well, usually they just land. This time they crash, and they get taken by these people. You got this guy. He's like an elite sniper. He's the main character in the movie. I don't know the actor's name, but he wasn't a good actor at all. Didn't like him in the movie. I mean, you remember how much of a badass Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny Glover were when they led the roles in these Predator movies. Even Adrian Brody, I thought, did a good job in 2010's Predators, another underrated movie, way better than this, much better in my opinion. The lead role in this movie, the whole movie, he just cracks jokes and acts like a drunken frat boy. Like, he takes the Predator's armor and his helmet. For whatever reason, he mails it home to his family. I have no reason why he did that. I mean, it made no sense in the context of the plot, because obviously by doing that, he's putting his family in danger, but for whatever reason he does that. He mails it home to his family. His superiors get a hold of him and they want to know where it is and they want to know what he saw, but he's not telling them shit. So they throw him into this bus with these guys who are supposed to be soldiers, but all of them have like severe mental health problems. It's fucking weird. Like you look at these guys and the way they speak and the way they behave, and they're clearly the characters are, they're being sent for psychiatric evaluation, and I'm like, no way was any one of these guys a soldier. I just don't buy it. Like I mentioned how in the first Predator movie the characters looked the part because they actually trained and actually did some, work with some real soldiers to try and find out how they should behave in a certain situation. In this movie, these guys act like frat boys, act like guys who are just getting high and drunk and making jokes and acting stupid. That's how all the characters in this movie act stupid. This movie also has, that very cliche, very stereotypical female character who is just condescending, just a stuck-up feminist bitch who you just don't like. I wanted the Predator to kill her. I was rooting for her to get killed, but she didn't. Sadly, just an annoying feminist bitch who, all through the movie, just has to correct everybody and explain shit and complain about shit and use scientific words that the actress clearly doesn't understand. And it was like there's even a few scenes in the movie which wound me the fuck up. It's like originally, I believe Predator was going to be called Hunter. Like, in the first movie, they were going to call it Hunter, and they kind of referenced that, but they referenced it multiple times. Like, they had the character, she's talking to one of the other characters, and they say it's called the Predator, and she's like, "Why is it called the Predator? Predators don't fight for sport. Predators don't hunt for sport. They it should be called Hunter." And I'm like, who gives a flying fuck? It's just a name. Calm down. And they have the same conversation later on in the movie with a different character. And I'm like, come on to fuck, man. But yeah, just stupidity from start to finish, man. Ridiculous movie. Didn't like that character. They also did this other cliche thing, which so many movies do, and it annoys the shit out of me. They have a child in this movie, like a child actor, and the sort of gimmick that this child has, that the child is, I believe he has Asperger's or he has a form of autism, and like in every single fucking movie that has an autistic character, they act and pretend as if autism is a superpower, and makes them super intelligent. Like this kid is able to hack alien technology and he's able to hack into computers and he's able to like study all these algorithms, and he puts on the Predator mask and he knows how to control it. He knows how to enter their spaceship while all these soldiers don't know how, and all these scientists are just clueless. But this boy, this like 9-year-old boy, because he's autistic, he's able to figure it out in seconds. That is so unrealistic and so fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Having autism doesn't give you superpowers. I'm sorry. Can somebody please tell Hollywood that autism isn't a superpower? Please. It is. Look, no disrespect to anybody who has autism. I know a lot of autistic people. Believe me, I've associated and been friends with many of them. It ain't a superpower, okay? It doesn't give you super intelligence. It doesn't allow you to hack computers and all that shit. So please, movies, Hollywood, stop with the autism as a superpower thing. They even had a line of dialogue in the movie with the stupid woman character where she's like, some people say that having autism is like the next stage in human evolution, or some stupid shit like that they said. And I was just like, come on now, enough of that shit, man. Just leave the PC shit out of these movies, please. Alright, send that shit to fucking Star Trek or some shit like that. Keep it out of Predator movies, okay? These movies were never about that shit. So, didn't like this movie. Again, there were a couple of action sequences I enjoyed, but they were pretty much ruined by the fact that the movie was so dark. It had that same issue that god awful garbage movie Alien versus Predator had, where the second one, not the first one, Alien versus Predator 2, I'm talking about, where um, the first one wasn't that bad, but the second one was an abomination. You know, where the camera was just so dark and you couldn't see what was going on most of the movie. That was what this movie was like. It was just like Alien versus Predator 2 in that sense. Terrible camera work and terrible cinematography where everything's so dark and gloomy and you can't see what's going on, and it's to hide the fact that there's so much CGI and it's just crap. The movie also has a very sequel baiting ending. I don't like sequel baiting endings. I would like for a movie to just end with a climax. You know, if they're going to set up a sequel, fair enough, but I don't like it to shamelessly sequel bait where it's like, watch the next movie to find out what happens. But this has that kind of ending where I don't even want to spoil the ending, but it was not what you'd expect, and it wasn't anything interesting to me. It didn't make any sense. This movie also tries to mess with the lore of the Predator a little bit by saying, oh no, we figured out from our studies that the Predator doesn't actually hunt for sport at all. No, no. Even though for the past 3 movies they've been telling us that they hunt for sport. I mean, in Predators, which was the previous movie, they were actually having warriors delivered in from other planets onto the Predator's home planet so they could hunt them for sport. But no, now apparently they don't hunt them for sport. Apparently they're hunting them so that they can take their DNA and add it to the predator's DNA so that the predator can evolve. I'm like, fuck off with that shit, man. They've always got to mix shit up, haven't they? It's the same shit they did with Alien Covenant. They're like, you want to know where the aliens came from? You know, you want to lose all mystery and intrigue. Oh yeah, Michael Fassbender created them. He created the aliens. And that movie was fucking worse than this. Alien Covenant was straight up garbage. But I mean, man, this was a crappy comedy. All the other Predator movies were survival horror action movies with good acting and real badass characters. This movie is a shitty comedy. It may as well have been one of the bad Adam Sandler movies. It may as well have been something like that because it was just a crap comedy. I already saw a crap comedy this year. I watched The Festival. I didn't want to see another crap comedy. So, whatever. Let me know what you guys think, and thanks for watching.